Hi guys, I'm George from DoraHacks, and welcome to the first Web3 Hackathon and Web3 Scholarship Grant winners demo. I'll be your host and moderator for this demo session, and please feel free to reach out to me at any time via my Telegram at gp_Dora if you'd like to connect and chat more about building a project or partnerships with DoraHacks. For a bit of background on this winners demo session, from July through to September, DoraHacks proudly supported Huobi Incubator and the project incubation arm of Huobi Global and its affiliated Web3 scholarship platform, and hosted the Web3 Hackathon. The Web3 Hackathon was designed to help grow promising Web3 startup projects who are still in their very early stages and have not yet launched a token. The hackathon was extremely successful, with more than 110 submissions being put forward for judging and to win a share of the prizes. With us today, we have got 4 fantastic projects who were winners of the Web3 Hackathon, joining us to speak about their project and give us a little demo. First up, we'll hear from the Hotpot team, who got second prize. Then we'll hear from the zkPass team, who received first prize. Thirdly, we'll hear from the FootEarn team, who also got second prize. And last but not least, we'll hear from the ASPIS team, who received a third prize. For the audience, please feel free to share any questions that you may have during the session in the YouTube or Binance Live chat rooms. We're more than happy to ask the team these questions as we go. So without further ado, let's welcome the Hotpot team to present their project to us. Welcome, Lucas.
Okay, I guess it's my time. So yeah, let me share my screen first. Hope the internet will hold on. Yeah, could you people see my screen?
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, okay, great. So I'll give you guys a basic introduction, which is Hotpot. So it's kind of like nowadays, like people thinking about, oh, it's a little bit difficult going to the Web3, especially for non-technical background guys like KOL on the Twitter. And we both know the DAO and the social file is coming. So our idea is actually coming from like, oh, hey, can we build a like codeless like platform for like normal people like Joe or anyone or even like my mother just to go into the Web3. So you can see a background is like first, oh, we have URL or stuff like that, and then we have like DAO, and then we're thinking, okay, maybe it's still a little bit difficult for people to go in there because, and also it's a little bit unfair because you will have a lot of like farming team to get a lot of airdrop or stuff like that, or like ICO stuff, like if we back to the 2017 stuff like that. So our very unique idea is like, oh, hey, can we create a kind of fair launch, and all of it will be kind of assured by smart contract. So that's our basic idea. The first is like, oh, we want people going without code, and the second is like, oh, we want fair launch. And as I just said, like it's problem like if you have ICO models or like airdrop models, then everything is not very fair. And the opportunity is like we really want to, like if you just go inside, you can see a clear structure of how the token and the token price will be ordered and be assured by some smart contract. So let's go to our solution. So our solution is called bounding curve. So I guess our audience and other people's already known that the Uniswap, which they propose the constant product or formula, is a kind of AMA. However, there are lots of AM types. I will give a quick introduction. So this is basically Uniswap stuff. Like you can bound like asset A and asset B with a curve, and if you throw some cube into the pool, you can get some other tokens, and vice versa. However, it's kind of difficult for starting DAO or for larger for massive adoption because you need a lot of liquidity and initial liquidity which is quite difficult for small DAO or like just like one single person's. So we said, okay, can we just check the paper and see around? Do we have other models? Luckily, we do found one. So this is bonding curve. You can see the token. The token price and the token supply will be bounded, and there's a curve. So the logic is very simple. We write a mathematical curve or function in the smart contract. So if you throw some, let's say, Cube or Ethereum or USDC into this smart contract, and you can get some tokens. If you want to leave this DAO, you can just throw these DAO tokens into this curve, and you get USD back. And another advantage of this is like this token market cap can reach equilibrium automatically, because there will not be like in the traditional order book, you can have like 5% of the total tokens and you can manipulate the market quite easily. You can't in this bonding curve because everything is written in the smart contract, and you have to throw something to get some token, or you throw the DAO token into it and get the stuff back. So, and another very important part is like you don't need any initial liquidity to pricing. You can see at the very beginning the price is just zero and there's no DAO token, and after your DAO grow, and you can get more and more members into it, and then your DAO token supply will surge and also the price will surge. So it's a basically automatic balance model. This is like why it's kind of innovation. So that's one part of our very unique part. And user case will be something like, oh, hey, you want to start a DAO and you don't know a lot of Solidity. Don't worry about that. You can just do it by click. And of course, we already under circuit, so no worry about security. And also like it's about KOL. So think about that. Maybe you are already a KOL in the Twitter or YouTuber, and you want to tokenize your influence. In our current model, it's still difficult because you have to talk with these big companies like YouTube and Twitters, and you cannot tokenize it directly. And as we all know, by any single middle layer, you will get some loss of your own interest. So it's the second use case. And the third use case is we found very throwing is about SBT pricing. So think about that, because these bonding curve models, you actually not trade with other people, you trade with this contract itself. So let's say, oh, hey, we have a DAO and we have a lot of SBTs, and you can just throw this SBT back to the smart contract and get some DAO tokens. So we thought this is kind of very unique models. You can even pricing the SBTs. So that's a kind of three different user case for these models. And so what is Hotpot? So basically it's codeless and based by bonding curve. I will give you guys a quick demo after these slides. And we already have like cooperate with some GameFi DAO, and it's our kind of our initial data like here. So it's around like 5,000 members, and we have like some transaction around BNB chain, and we have some income because we get some, just like Uniswap, we will get some tax from this like exchange token procedure. And our future will be like I guess around December, depending on some market stuff, and we will launch on the mainnet, Ethereum mainnet, around December. And also we will try to collaborate with more like DAO. And also about like we will offer some SDKs to other people's If they don't want to go to Hotpot, they just want to use this bounding curve stuff, it's fine. We don't force people to just go our platform. We think bounding curve is for everyone, no need for that. And for further stuff, we want to go multi-chain because we think you don't have to like swap your token from Ethereum to BNB to just join a DAO. It sounds weird, or go to Aptos or Solana stuff. You can just sit in your own chain coffee and just join a DAO, so it will be multi-chain stuff. And also, like, we want to we will offer some kind of education stuff. So we will tell coach the market, say, oh, hey, how could you make your DAO a little bit more consensus with the current like police problem or like surveillance problem, because it's also always important if you want to becoming more and more legals. And also we will collaborate with other DAO tools because we cannot be everywhere. We also need to collaborate with something like Nancy Safe or Snapshot stuff. And our target will be mostly will be for the current stage, I guess, will be Web3 native, but for the further major user case will be Twitter KOL or YouTube KOL. You can just tokenize your influence directly without some without permission. And we do have some competition for sure, like this DAO starter, something like Mint Club or Juicebox, and this token offering stuff like Uniswap and also Mint Club. And I guess okay, this is about something like seed rounding stuff. So if we do have some audience which have some venture background, we are willing to talk. And for our teams, we do have some. We already been in this like industry for 5 years. We used to be like some university student, and now from like science and marketing or business, and now we think, oh hey, Web3 is rolling, so we do want to do it. Okay, and I guess I still have like 2 minutes, so I 2 or 3 minutes. So I will give people a quick demos. So here is our like website. It's hotpot.network, and you can basically launch a DAO very quick. You just need, like, sorry, just let me type my key. Yeah. So basically, you can just launch. You just connect your wallet, and you can just launch a DAO with several clicks. And nowadays, we know people are lazy, so you don't even need to give them a name or for your DAO. So you can just randomize it. So if you want to raise some cube, you can say, oh hey, let's create a curve. So you can see here's is the pricing models. So if you don't have any peoples, then if you don't have any participants in the initial stage, then the price will be just 0. But if more and more people go inside, this price will be higher and higher. So you can see the market cap is also like a quadratic linear. Sorry, it's a little bit background noise. Just a second. It's still a little bit unstable on the Cube test net. Let me just have a quick try. Yeah. So you just pay a little bit like Cube price because you still need to create a contract, right? It's factoring contract if you are like from like technical background, and you just need to wait for a while, and sorry for the network jamming. Yeah, okay. So you do have the DAO here, and you can see if you want just contribute a little bit DAO, a little bit token to, you can see the price will be actually just lying on these curves. So when different stage comes, the different price will be set. but it makes sense because at the beginning you don't know the DAO, so of course you will get some cheap price, but in the later stage you have more liquidity and of course you will have higher price. So it's our basic logic. So I guess my time is done. So if you guys have any questions, I'm welcome to answer some questions. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your presentation. And now, before we do get into the questions, I just wanted to welcome Lucas Liu, who's our guest for this demo session. Lucas is a senior research manager at Huobi Incubator, and yeah, we are very lucky to have him here with us today. So apologies for the late intro, Lucas.
It's all right. It's all right. Thanks for the intro, and thanks for having me.
No, you're welcome. Happy to have you here. So yeah, I mean, getting into the questions, Lucas, did you have any questions for the Hotpot team? Sorry, Lucas.
I cannot hear. It's very blurry. It's my problem, or
Lucas, I think you're cutting out a little bit, Lucas, on your end.
Can you guys hear me well now?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Yeah. So, first question is like, have you seen any in your type of products, and if there's any support kind of your competitive advantage?
Lucas, I think it seems to be cutting out like halfway through asking the question. Yes, a little bit.
Any competitors in your type of product? If there's any, what is your competitive advantage compared with them?
Could you repeat the question, George? It's still blurry, so
yeah, it's a little bit blurry. I think what
I'll just typing to the chat.
Yeah, type into the chat and then I can ask it, Lucas. No worries. I believe yeah, what Lucas was asking is around the competitors and who your competitors are.
Yes, we do have some competitors. Yeah. So,
yeah, and also your competitive advantage as well. I think Lucas was asking.
Oh, okay. So we consider our major competitors is Juicebox and Mint Club. So they do have some advantage because they already gained some reputations, especially Juicebox, about the Constitution DAO. They actually go to the Juicebox. They've already launched on Juicebox, so they do have the reputations. And they do have the advantage. And for the Mint Club, they also actually run on the BNB like 6 months before us. And I guess our advantage is first of all is actually we go multi-chain, so we can actually merge with even more DAO ecosystems instead of just living on the Ethereum and the BNB. Of course, it will introduce a lot of problem like how could you coordinate about this voting power stuff. It's very complicated, but we have to do that. And I guess the second advantage is like we already live in the GameFi industry for a long time, so we do have some connection with this GameFi stuff, and also we will go very active with this DID project like Lens or CyberConnect. So I guess we will merge with this DAO and DID. So it's more than like tokenizing. So we want to actually make it into more social scale, not just like ICO or launching a token. It's not our single goal. It's part of. It's just one part of us.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, beautiful. Makes sense. Now, a question that I had for you guys was in terms of attracting users to your platform. How do you think that you're going to achieve that?
Okay. So as I just demos, bounding curve is actually have its own incentives, because if you are the very first person in the very first block, you can not lose because the price is just zeros. So it's a very strong incentive. We already have tested in one of the GameFi DAO. So it's a very first things, and the second things is like the go-to-market strategy is about like, okay, do you want to be fair? Like our price is already written, well written, solid written in the smart contract. I guess the fair is one of the most important things in the Web3. Unlike current like after stuff, like you don't even know the price of the tokens before it's go to the market or DeFi. It's just nonsense. So actually, we are talking with a lot of DAOs, and I guess it's do have some, like they do like our ideas. That's kind of our go-to-market strategy. We are talking with a lot of DAOs. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, thank you. Thanks for your presentation. And if any other questions do come up as we go, then we'll be sure to ask them closer to the end. But thank you. Thanks very much. Second up, we will hear from the zkPass team who received the first prize. So congratulations, Joshua, and welcome.
Thank you, George. Let me just share the screen.
Sure.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys for this opportunity to present zkPass to the community, and also thank you guys for picking zkPass as number one. I'm Joshua, a co-founder of zkPass. I'm taking the strategy and also the product side. With zkPass, we are aimed to build a decentralized KYC solution based on multi-party computation and zero-knowledge proof. So basically, in general, we are trying to provide a Web3 foundation for the KYC. So that's our ultimate goal. We are trying to build a protocol to help Web3 to finish the KYC. Just before moving to the zkPass solution, I'd like to go over the traditional KYC process and also the problems. So with the traditional KYC process, you guys everybody have some experience with it. So in general, it has three parties. The P, the prover side, normally it's the user, right? So the V is the verifier, it's the platform side. S is the server, which is a trusted data source, like a passport issuer or administration type of agents. So that's the three parties. And also a typical KYC process generally work like this. So the user side, the P, submits his KYC information to a V, the verifier is the platform. And the verified, the platform gets the KYC information and it turns to us, the server, for the authentication check. So that's the typical process. So as you see in this process, the V in the middle is just a broker, right? It's just a KYC data broker in the middle. And also in this process, each party has some own problems. For P, the prover side, so the problem with the prover is he might be number one, he might be providing the fake personal data. Number two is he might be over disclosing the KYC information. By saying over disclosing, I meant for example, it's if you want to play a certain game, the platform requires you are older than 18 years old. But in the KYC process, you are disclosing 4 of your personal information, like your age, your gender, your ID, and also your physical address. So that's why you're just disclosing too much information. And the problem with the server side, so server is a trusted data source, but somehow it cannot provide a personalized verification services. Just like the example I mentioned, if the server, so the KYC is if the user older than 18 years old or not. So actually the response should be a simple yes or no. Yes, this lady is older than 18 years old or not. But somehow the server cannot do this. So which means the server cannot provide personalized verification services. So that's the problem with the server. The biggest problem in this whole process actually is the verify side. The verify side in the middle actually is the platform. So number one, the platform has access to all the personal KYC information. Just like I think everybody have some experience with this. Number two, since Verified, the platform has access to the KYC information, so that introduces great potential for the data leakage. We are able to see a lot of data leakage in centralized exchange, in other industry as well. So that's the problem with each parties. So zkPass solution is, number one, we change the position of P and V. So V was in the middle. Now we put a user in the middle. So instead of, so the process changes like this. So P, the approval side, doesn't have to go through V. Now P go directly to S with his access tokens and to get his identity information. So P talk to S directly instead of talking to V in the beginning. So P talk to S and get some responses of his KYC information, and P generate a zero knowledge proof and transfer this zkP to the verifier. And so V, the verify side, so the platform now only need to check zkP. So verify, in this case, verify doesn't know any KYC information about P. So that's the overall. Also, in order to implement this structure, so that's the overall solution that zkPass proposed to the industry, how we are going to solve all these issues with the KYC. And in order to implement this structure and solve the problems, the existing problems, so that's typically we have three typical technical solutions for the three technical challenges. So number one, in order to implement this is a three-party kind of like a structure change. The problem number one is the TLS protocol. So the traditional TLS protocol is just a two-party protocol, doesn't support a three-party protocol. By saying three-party is the VPS. So the solution to this one is zkPass build a three-party TLS protocol based on elliptic curve DAG protocol, combine that with the multi-party computation and also oblivious transfer protocol. Actually, you guys are able to check the codes of this part on the GitHub. We already upload this. So the second challenge is, as I mentioned, that the user, the P, the prover side, has a potential to forge the data responses from the server. So in order to solve this one, is we are using MPCs. So in this case, so the prover side, the user and the verifier, the user and the platform in this case are each holding half of the market key. And we do have the market keys because the market key is for the data integrity key, just to make sure, okay, so the prover cannot forge or tamper with the identity information responses provided by the S, the server. So basically, once the P get his responses from the server, the S, and then we use the market key to make sure P cannot change it. So over this MPC, P and the V both. So the user and the platform both, they are going to check this key to make sure each side doesn't change any information, change the initial responses from the S. So that's for this one, how to prevent the user, the prover side from cheating on V, the platform side. So the third problem, as I mentioned, the verify side. So the platform has access to all the privacy information. So how to prevent this from happening? So the solution is to use MPC, and while doing this MPC handshakes, and the verify side doesn't have this encrypted key. We do have another key, which is encrypted key. So this is the data confidentiality key. So the verify side cannot decrypt any KYC info, and the verify doesn't know any customer privacy information through zkP. So that's basically how we solve this issue. So this is actually the very detailed phases of the zkPass protocol. It's very techy, so I'm just going to skip this. If you guys are interested in this, maybe we can discuss it after this presentation. So that's basically how the whole protocol works, and how the MPC works, and also how zkP is generated and how zkP is verified. I'm just going to skip this, and yeah. So in order for user to get a better understanding how the protocol works, I present here is a user flow. So in this user flow, you're able to see we have 3 parties. You see the P, the user, the Alice. V is the compound. So S is the Bank of America BOA. So let's just assume now the compound as a platform wants to launch an activity, and the KYC requirement is to verify user's name. So that's a simple KYC in the Web3 space. So in this case now, compound will create user kit to create a KYC template, and the Alice will use this template to pick the template, and the kit will redirect to Alice to the BOA bank login page. So basically, Alice will use her Bank of America username and password to log into Bank of America, right? So meanwhile, so in the back end, zkPass kit, the Alice, P, and also the nodes V here. So these 3 are doing the NPCs. And so in this case, so that's the first step, right? The second step is S. Well, so once Alice logged in, and the S BOA will respond Alice's name. In this case, the KYC is the name of the Alice, right? Responds the name, and then once the protocol gets the name, and then we are going to have the encrypted key and the market key. Encrypted key is on the P, and the market key is on P and V both. They're going to have key, and then running the NPC, and then generate this zkP and pass it over to compound to check the yes or no. So that's how the whole user flow of the protocol works. So basically, in this case, is a compound is leveraging Web2 data source, Bank of America, to check Alice's name. So that's the KYC. Yeah. So the overall structure in terms of like the products or the components of the protocol is we do have 3 components as I described. So number 1 is the zkPass kit. So user is able to use this kit. So this kit is more like a Google extension. It's very simple to use and to install. You install the kit, and then using this kit to initiate the KYC responses, KYC request, and then using this template, right? And once this task is initiated, the task management contract in the network will allocate this task to certain nodes in the network. So once, let's say node 4 is picked, and then node 4 and the kit will run in the NPC to generate this zkP, and zkP responds back to zk verification contract, and then goes back to the kit. So that's basically the whole flow. And also, so 3 components. Number 1 is the kit. It's like a Google extension, very easy to use. Number 2, it's a decentralized network running the NPC. So this network is consisted of by multiple nodes. The verifier running the NPC task is the nodes in the network. The network is scheduled by an on-chain smart contract to allocate the tasks for the NPCs. And also these nodes can get token incentives for maintaining the stability and also the robustness of the protocol. Yeah. So also the smart contracts. So that's the third component. So this diagram just to show the difference between zkPass and the other application in the space. So in this one, you are able to see number 1 is zkPass is able to use Web2 data source so basically Web2 data source plus zkPass protocol, and we are able to generate a decentralized credential. And once we have decentralized credential, and we could be presented in the form of DID or SPT or other, even NFT. So that's a different type of formatting. So the core competitive advantage of zkPass is number 1 is we are able to leverage Web2 data source, and as long as it's HTTPS based data source, and we are able to leverage the protocol and change that into a decentralized credentials. Yeah. So the red line actually is zkPass space, and then so the blue line actually is some other application in the space. Let's say for this one, is number 1 is they are centralized. It's more like it's not decentralized, and And number two, they are only able to use the driver license and also Twitter, Discord, but they are not able to use all the HTTP based. So that's so some projects are only able to do Web3 data source. So they only able to convert the Web3 data into decentralized credentials. But that Web3, number one is they didn't use zkP because Web3 data is open source. Everybody's able to check that one. Number two is Web3 data source is very limited. It doesn't have much meaning about people's activities. So some other projects is they only issue a very simple decentralized credential, and it's just like a membership type of cards. It doesn't mean much things. Yeah. So in terms of like tokenomics, we have. So in terms of the tokenomics number, we have this tokenomics. So the total issuance of the tokenomics is is 1 billion, and we got this 28% of the tokenomics. It goes to the initial investors. 25 goes to the earning incentives, and 15 goes to the liquidity pool. 10% goes to the team member and the advisors. 10% goes to the reserve. That goes to the reserve, and so the rest goes to the foundations. So that's basically the tokenomics. And also, we do have the incentive for the earning nodes. So the incentive is basically charged by basically have the protocols. So basically as for those nodes running the MPCs, and you are able to receive 40% of incentive tokens, and which will be released quarterly over 5 years. And the nodes needs to stake certain amount of tokens in the space. So that's how we are able to the nodes are able to maintain the network. So yeah, and also we are able to have those incentives for other community members. So for the protocol works is we are able to charge 50 cents to $1 for each KYC, and also this fee is distributed to the different communities as well. Yeah, so that's basically about the tokenomics. We do have a demo. Let me just switch over and then to share the demo to you guys. Hold on a second. Yeah, so this is the demo. Okay.
Hi ZK friends. In this demo, we will show you how zkPass works in the front end and how individuals can verify their identity with MPC and zkP, how businesses manage their customers onboarding without revealing their data. For individual users, you can generate zero-knowledge proofs to verify your attributes, or participate in a public event to submit your zkP to qualify for eligible access. For developers, you can run zkPass nodes to participate in multi-party computation to get protocol revenue, or become a contributor to develop public KYC templates to get incentives. For business users, you can create and manage your KYC requirements and customer onboarding in one stop. First, you need to connect to an EVM-compatible wallet. You need to enter your topic, link, banner, start time, and time zone of the campaign, and description. Then create or select an existing KYC template to get the user attributes you need to verify. You can also import Web3 addresses for private participation or open them for everyone. You can manage all Web3 addresses with eligible attributes in Dashboard and check the status of pending, approved, and rejected. Still, you won't get any sensitive data from users. Then the individuals can check out the KYC portal or any private link where you can view some events that are available for KYC. You can see information about the business user who created the KYC request. This includes its profile, website, social media, etc., and the reason for creating the KYC request, whether it was for an event, a campaign, a whitelist sales, or whatever. If you want to apply for this event, if you have generated an eligible zkP before, you can use it directly. If you have not, you will need to generate a new zkP. Before generating zkP, you need to install a zkPass kit, which is an extension that only takes a few seconds to install in Google Chrome. Then you need to click to jump to the specified server, which is the trusted data source website. Log into your account, and zkPass kit will be automatically invoked to perform multi-party computation task assignment and zero-knowledge proof generation process. You can also upload your generated zkP to the blockchain for reuse, and it will only contain your attributes, such as being older than 18 years old. There will not be any other specific data. Thank you for watching. This is a front-end demo of a privacy-preserving Web3 KYC solution published by zkPass, and if you want to see how zkPass protocol works, follow us on our official Twitter feed.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the introduction of zkPass. If you guys have any questions, more than welcome to answer.
Perfect. Thanks, Joshua, for your presentation. Lucas, did you have any questions?
Yes, my sound right now.
It's still like lagging, like cutting out a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's just get working up.
Yeah,
I'll try to type in.
Feel free to type it, and I can ask the question again. No worries.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Joshua, I had a question myself. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of development with various zk applications in the past few months. So, I mean, just as an overall question, I mean, what have you found as a challenge or one of the biggest challenges in building a zk application?
I think so far the biggest application of zk is actually we are working on, we pretty much finished the MPC. We closed the MPC development. Actually, we are working on zk part at the moment. So the biggest challenge would be actually for the whole industry is we are trying to kind of test the speed of the whole zk circuits and also the algorithm behind the zk. So that's what we are trying to do. So actually, the average speed we getting is kind of like about average at the moment. But we are shooting for kind of like a 15 seconds, because for the user experience, you cannot do very kind of lagging or something like right. But in terms of like the zk development, actually, it's very new. I would say new applications for the whole space. Yeah, we are trying very hard to provide the best product based on the technology we are able to handle. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Fantastic. So from Lucas, Lucas wrote he really loves the design of the product, which is clean, easy to use, and problem solving. And his question was, how do you bootstrap developers when building the zkPass node? And what do you balance the lack of demand in the early stage in the token supply level to make the tokenomic sustainable?
Oh, that's a very good question. Thanks, Lex. So basically, in terms of the developers for zkPass nodes, in the early stage, the nodes will be running by zkPass. So basically, for each, actually the nodes is not. Let me just briefly introduce a little bit more detail about the network. Actually, this is not like mining type of nodes. This is just a task running nodes. So they just they need to run in the MPC to finish the whole key exchange verify type of process. So the nodes will be run by zkPass in the very beginning, and also it will be incentivized through the communities. I think I didn't go much detail about the nodes incentivized, and so the first thing would be zkPass running the nodes just to test it out for the network, for the testnet. Number two is once we establish a very stable, status of the network, we're going to open that to the communities, and so the incentive of the community is able to get by running the nodes. The advantage is number one, it's the network or the setup for the running the nodes is very easy and it is very low cost, and also it doesn't need any computation power if you are not running the MPC. So it's just kind of like a bad task amount allocation type of rewards. That's number one. Number two, these nodes actually they are getting very good income. So for each KYC zkPass, we are charging like 50 cents to $1, and 50% of that. So that's the kind of like the long-term value of the zkPass what goes to those nodes. It's not, this has nothing to do with the token side. And also, of course, the rewards is through the tokens. And actually, this is kind of in terms of the whole ecosystem, you get money, outside money getting into the ecosystem every day. That's kind of like a positive sign for the stability of the token side. So that's number two. Number three is we are able to have around we have 25% of tokens for the community as an incentive, and 40% of this 25 is allocating to the nodes in 5 years. And so 5 years, of course, we're going to have in so first year is 30% and 25, and then decrease. And then so that's kind of how the token is going to allocate it to those nodes. And of course, the nodes needs to stake their tokens in order to be the node. And we do have a very good strategy for the staking, and we have 1 month, we have 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year. And according to your stake period, and then the staking reward by token and also the revenue is different. So that's how we going to test out this whole strategy through the testnet. So the testnet will be online the first quarter of next year, so 3 months from now. So Lucas.
Perfect. Thanks, Joshua. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for your presentation as well. It's fantastic.
Thanks.
So now moving on to the next project, we will hear from the FootEarn team who received the second prize. Hi, Ellie.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
Happy to have you here.
Yes, so I'm Ellie from the FootEarn team, and let me share the screen and I will talk about FootEarn. About FootEarn is the very first real-time 2D blockchain-based game, and the gaming atmosphere is really engaging and very fast-paced, but it's accessible so that everyone of different ages and gender can all enjoy it. And the gameplay and also the design can be compared with FIFA for their similarities, but our unique feature is that the gameplay is so much easier, so it's approachable for everyone, so even women and people of all ages can play it. And I will show you the trailer of the game now. Yes, that's the trailer for the game, and so you see that the football games have already attracted a very massive amount of players, and with the trend of esport game players soaring every day, and as well as we have the World Cup taking place at the end of this year, I think it's a perfect timing for our team to launch FootEarn this year. So to emphasize again, FootEarn is a free-to-play and free-to-earn 3D games that allow players to control easily and capture the rhythm from any angle. And with our unique 3D graphic and top-notch gameplay, user-friendly and very easy to get acquainted with all the players. So here is our in-game design, and we also have two different types of modes for the users. The training mode and the P2P. The training mode is for the beginners, and if you are new to the game, this mode is perfect for you to train and get used to the rhythm of the game. So, and if you are the skilled player, you can get right into a PvP match and play with all the players to increase the competitiveness of a live match. So when you get into our game, you can get one team for free, and you don't have to pay any initial fees for joining the game. And when you play, you can get to earn a random box to play a match and get a chance to earn that box. And on our marketplace, you can open the box and buy or sell players, upgrade entities, or train your players. So um, you can see that many blockchain based game in the past only focus in the earning function, but the entertainment factor was very overlooked, even though they have come a very long way. But with our game FootEarn, we want to combine the advantages of traditional games as well as the blockchain-based game factor, so you can play and entertain and enjoy the game, which also involves the financial feature, so make the game even more inviting. So about our marketing concept, we want to focus 80% globally and 20% on the Vietnamese market, and we want to become the leading trend of the esport games on blockchain. So about our tokenomics, in the FootEarn space, there are three major types of tokens. We have the fan tokens, the PO, and the Go. So the fan tokens is you can buy them on exchanges and swap them to PO, which is a stable token, and the Go is the off-chain token used for the in-game functions. And the reason why we have three kinds of currency is to avoid inflation, and also to keep the fan price from inflation. We will not be selling any boxes like in other games. All the NFTs will be earned and minted by the players. So the fan tokens is used on the Polygon network, and we would distribute 1 billion tokens. Fan is used for the staking, farming, and transaction fee, and the PO token is also ran on the Polygon network, and the supply is unlimited. It's a stable coin and can be used for various functions, and the goal is for the training feature inside the game. So we also have the earn and burn mechanism. You can earn by joining the tournaments, staking NFTs, farming, trading, staking your fan and PO tokens, and investing. And also we have the burn mechanisms, so you can burn your fan tokens and POs by training your players and participating in tournaments, and some other features that we will upgrade after time. So we have the multiple earning mechanism. You can earn by the farming liquidity pool, and by staking your fan tokens and NFTs, and also trading on exchanges. And here is our token release schedule, and all the rounds take up to 36 months. So this proves that this is our very sustainable and long-term project. And so we will have the upcoming World Cup esports event, also to greet the biggest football event in the world this year. And so by this event, we will no longer have the IDO. You can see most of the projects use the crowdfunding to start making the products by having the IDO, but with our FootEarn alone, we have already completed the project and we are ready to launch for the users. So by this event, you can join and get our fan tokens. And this is a very fascinating event because we can avoid in organizations or any individuals to hold a large amount of tokens and then dump our tokens as soon as it gets listed. So about this event, there will be 32 teams that will join the World Cup and divided to 8 tiers. So the higher the tiers is, the more likely the teams that you own are likely to win. And so it will be very similar to a random generation game. So to find your favorite team, you can do it by 3 features: minting and buying on marketplace and breeding. So each time you mint, you will get a chance to earn a random team. So to tier up your team, you can breed by owning the same team 3 times to tier up your team. And if the team that you own becomes the World Cup champion, you can win up to uh, uh, $3,200 for $5,000 you spend. So it's the minting process costs $50 each time. So for the $10, it will be for the organization cost, and the $40 will be added to a liquidity to a prize pool. And there will be 3 ranks: the golden prize, the silver prize, and the bronze prize. So the winners will get 70% and 20% and 10% respectively to the prize. And so here is our conversion rate to fan tokens. So for each $50 you spend, if the team that you own get into the tier 8, you can get $25. And as the tier moves up, the money that you get will be double or triple. And yes, it's all on this slide here. And so I can say that this is a 100% winning chances event, because the reason I say that is for every NFT you own, you can convert them back to your fan tokens at the TG price. And so if you win, your price can be double, triple, and even higher. And your price can, and even if you do not win, you can still convert your NFTs into fan tokens after the event is completed. So during this World Cup, we will have the landing page exclusively for this event, and we'll also have a marketplace coming along with it. And after that, we will have the alpha testnet for users, which including a tournament too. So after the event, we will have the open beta and tournaments. So for the roadmap of this event, it will start on November 20 and ends on December 18, right the same days as the World Cup begins and ended. So from December 19 to January 19, 2023, you can claim your prize and convert them back to USDT. And after that, from January 13 and to May 10, you can swap your NFTs, the NFTs that you own, to fan tokens, and you can only withdraw approximately 1% a day. So it takes to 100 days to 100% withdraw all your fan tokens. So yes, here is our team and our partners and backers. So if you have, I also have this test game for you to see. So that's the test game for the update, and there will be more updates for this tenant, and the game will be expected to launch at the end of this year. So if you have any questions, please ask me.
Thanks, Ali. Thank you for your presentation. Lucas had a question. He just asked, will there be any special marketing campaign for the World Cup? I believe you did answer this actually earlier in the presentation.
Yes, the special market campaigns, as I already mentioned, is there will be the World Cup eSport event, and it will be for all the users to get a chance to hold our fan tokens. So it will be a great chance for anyone who is passionate about our game and want to join the game and get a chance to get our fan tokens, and it can be used for the in-game functions later after the game is out. So yes.
Yeah, cool. And then in terms of you did mention FIFA as a game that obviously is similar, but I mean with so many people playing FIFA, why do you think that what is the point of difference in terms of why would people come and play your game instead of FIFA?
So I think our main difference is that different from FIFA, will launch this game for also the Web3 users to join our game, and also this game will be very user friendly. In the past, the game FIFA have attracted a very big amount of players, but mostly I see it is for the esport players, more focus on the male sectors. And by our game, we want to focus on everyone of different ages and genders, and the gameplay will be easier. It will be very similar because it's a 3D game, but the difference is you will not have to control any individual players inner, and it could take a lot of skills for you to be able to play the game. And without game, it will be easier, and also it's very user friendly. So I think it's something that we would the players would be interested in. Yes.
No, perfect. Got it. Perfect. Thank you, Ellie. Thanks for your presentation. Appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And last but not least, we'll hear from the ASPIS team who received third place. Welcome, Vladimir.
Hello. First of all, thanks very much to our team for having us here and giving this opportunity to show our product to the a lot of interesting users, potential users. And also thanks for the Cube chain for scholarship and support. We believe that this is very important right now when with current decline in crypto prices to support the builders. So let me show what we've built so far. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Okay, very nice. So we're building on-chain asset management toolkit for DAO funds and projects. So basically, this is the no-code platform where everyone can deploy their own on-chain DAO. Also, there is DAOpad Launchpad for the created DAO and the governance platform where users can govern, create the proposals and submit on them, vote on them. So here's our team. So our team consists of 8 people. Our team combines top corporate and management consulting experience with high-level development track record, both for enterprise and startups. And here I'm with you, the CTO of the project. Me personally had the experience with Kearney, McKinsey, Accenture. I also was participating in multiple crypto exchanges and won multiple state level. So what is ASPIS and why we're building it? So during our experience with crypto market, we worked a lot with fundraising for startups and trust management and faced these trust management issues. If you look at the left side of the slide, you can see how things are mostly working right now. Current tools is very expensive, takes long time, and still doesn't prevent the main risks. Safety mechanisms are backward looking. That means that the legal system basically can punish the bad actor, but cannot prevent the fraud in the first place. So there are multiple red flags in current approach. The first one is, for example, if investors trust manager and transfer their funds directly and not using even the legal entities, he can lose access to the wallet. There is also risk of managers' misbehavior, rug pull, fund embezzlement, and stuff like that. Also, there are multiple inefficiencies like lack of transparency for the investors and mostly manual accounting. If we're covering the constitution of legal entity, opening the bank account, settling the legal issues, I mean, it's costly and basically don't prevent the fraud in the first place. So here we're now imagine that there is zero trust environment, that all the relationship between the managers and investor govern on chain. So there is like on-chain investors agreement where funds are stored. Manager have partial access to these funds. He's not controlling the private keys. Everything is handled through the smart contract. So all the interactions happens from the manager's cabinet. I'll show you in a demo how we integrated our DAO with a Frame wallet, which is open source, basically MetaMask. And also investors can do what they want with the funds according to this investors on-chain agreement, and they're fully protected. Also, manager is interacting with the DEX protocols and DeFi protocols on the whitelisted basis. So if investors allow manager to do some swaps on certain pairs, he will be able to do so. If managers want to have like ad hoc transaction or to add more pairs, he launches the voting. So what is ASPIS? ASPIS basically platform consists of 3 main pillars. So it supports DAO creators and investors with a group of solutions. So first one is the DAO constructor, the second is Launchpad, and the third is DAO governance toolkit. I'll show you in a minute how it actually works. So why we choose the asset management market? Because we believe that this is the most problematic and the most valuable market segment. And also no common players or big competitors here in place. If we go comparing ASPIS to main players in the industry, which is our competitors, which is Syndicate, XDAO, and Wheezy, we see that Syndicate doesn't have the on-chain governance mechanic, automated IR and accounting. and XDAO doesn't have such level of digitalization which we currently have, and Wheezy doesn't have the seamless no-code integration, and you still need to use command line or something like that to create your own DAO. So here we can see the business model. So we separated our clients to the three main groups. The first one is the small DAOs, which have less than 2 million under the management. The second is medium, and the third is large. They have different pain points, and we have different monetization models for each of them. We do believe that the adoption of DAOs will grow, since a lot of problems on the standard institutions are faced right now with the currencies, with the protectionist and the forex exchange control, which is implemented by the local governments. And we believe that the number of DAOs will growing, and the number of DAO toolings as well as adoption of ASPIS will grow in the coming years. The main cases, the use cases for ASPIS is a VC fund pools, like secure collective investment and DAO-to-DAO governance. The second one is DAX trading and DeFi portfolio managers. The third one is DAO startups. And the fourth one is the GameFi guilds. We actually signed already some of them who wait for our beta test launch. So regarding our roadmap, we won prizes for hackathons from the Polygon, like Cube Chain, Hobby mentioned here, Ethanline, and BNB Chain. We already integrated the core of the project, which I will show you in a minute. And we're planning on expanding our development team and business development to onboard more DAO. Thanks for the attention for the presentation, and let's switch to the demo. So here we go to the ASPIS platform, choose the right wallet, choose the right network, and for example, we create the DAO. All process requires no code. So here we go. We specify the name of the DAO, the token name, description, some socials, and this is the only information stored in our backend. So here we use the subgraph for all other stuff. So these are actually the variables for the smart contract itself. So we specifying the LP agreement here, the fundraising target, duration of fundraising phase, fundraising start date, base currency to calculate the profit. Deposit, we put the deposit limits here, also tokens available for depositing, allow listed wallets for deposit. If you want to make your DAO private and, for example, do the KYC of all the members of your DAO, you can do it manually and add these wallets in the future. We also have the token lockup period to protect from the flash loans and flash arbitrage. The next goes the capital offboarding rules. With withdrawal windows, so that means that without the rage quit fund, you will be able to withdraw the capital, for example, here to every 2 days, every 13 days. So for example, you can make the every first 5 days of the quarter. The next comes the rage quit fine, which is payable if you want to leave the DAO outside these withdrawal windows. Next comes the transaction delay, which is the time goes between the transaction voting happens and the changes take the effect. That's for the protection from the CBIL attacks and from other hacks. This is the time needed for participants of the DAO to rage quit. Next, we specify the different fees. We have the entrance fees, the fund management fee, and performance fee. Performance fee paid from the profit made by the trader itself. This is for the asset management DAO. And the second one is fund management fee, which is payable on a daily basis, divided by all the participants, depends on their liquidity, which they have inside the DAO. And entrance fees for the VC kind of pool, where some people, for example, influencers, can have the access to the private sales or some closed deals, and people pay them to participate just in the deal. Also, there is like voting rules, which is quorum, minimum approval, voting duration, minimum shares of LP to trigger voting, which is pretty standard into the DAO to make all the decision transparent. Here we go next. We choose here only option right now available is that investment managers performing transaction on behalf of the community. And we can also allow list wallets for the investments. So for example, we can outline here the certain trading pairs on Uniswap or ChainSwap or other exchanges and DeFi protocols. So here these wallets are only wallets where a manager will be able to withdraw the capital without the triggering the voting. Also, here's the ability to change the investment manager. So if the community members will decide to change the manager, a manager can leave this yes or no, and if he will choose yes, that means that a voting may be submitted to replace the investment manager with another one, and he will lose access to the capital, to the community capital. Let's move next. Here we set up the spending limits. So for example, we can restrict the manager is able to withdraw only like 10% monthly. So for the better control of the how capital being spent inside the DAO. And we also specify the initial price of LP token. And we try to deploy the DAO. Here we created the DAO. And this DAO will be available on this DAO Launchpad. So here the DAO we created. Here we can see the basic like funding target deposit limits, and if we want to explore it a little bit more, except the portfolio and fund managers, all the data stored synced from the subgraph, we can see the basically the term sheet. This is like the logic behind the asset management DAO funds. When people are joining this DAO fund or like institutional fund, they assign certain agreements, and these agreements outline the rules of the interaction. Basically, this is all on-chain rules we specified on the creation of the DAO. So let's make a deposit. Here we made the deposit. As you can see, for example, we invested 50 USDC and we received 49.5 LP tokens of the DAO, which were minted only on deposit, and 0.5 LP tokens went to the manager as the commission for this particular DAO. So here we can see that we've submitted some liquidity into the DAO. So let's integrate this DAO with the Frame wallet, as I explained, and see how the manager is interacting with the DAO capital. We copy the smart contract address of this DAO, show the Frame, and adding ASPIS DAO. Here we can supply it, click next, and right now, you can see the DAO available here, and we will be able to, for example, on behalf of the DAO, swap onto the Uniswap. Let's do the swap. You see that we successfully made the swap of the wrapped Ethereum to the Uni tokens. And this is with the same easiness, DAO manager will be able to connect to any DeFi protocol or the exchange and use their front-end interface. We do believe that the growing ecosystem of the decentralized exchanges, as well as more restriction from the legal perspective, will be put on the centralized exchanges. So one of the first use cases is the discretionary asset management, which is basically when the investor is supplying liquidity to the trader, trading on his behalf. And for example, centralized exchange becomes the intermediary, which don't allow the trader to get away with the capital of the investor and only use it into his deals. And we're doing the same, but on-chain. And we do believe that this is the only way how people will interact in the future without trusting their funds to centralized entities and only use the decentralized ecosystem. Here we can see that how voting works. So for example, we want to change the deposit limits of this DAO. So we create the proposal, vote on them, burn LPs. So here, basically all my presentation. Also, we can cover some use cases of the ASPIS tokens we'll be launching into the future. So the first one, the holders of the ASPIS tokens will be participating in the governance of the platform and ASPIS Foundation. Also, they will be able to help treasury management and budgeting of the ASPIS project itself. Backlog prioritization, we will be publishing all our development efforts open source, so people will decide and the users will decide which functions will be better to implement. They will be also to integrate customized DAO modules. So for example, any third-party developers will be able to submit their own code into the DAO ecosystem, and after the review of the main managers, they will be able for the DAO participants. And holders of ASPIS tokens will get discounts on platform fees. ASPIS will also have the revenue streams. So basically, we will collect regular fees from the users in base currencies, like subscription fees and fundraising fees from startups. that collected fees will be aggregated to ASPIS Foundation, and there might be regular buybacks and rewards users for holding stake in ASPIS, where this is work in process. So here you can see the high-level overview of how the whole token ecosystem will work. So ASPIS investor creators and participants get tokens from the market. All majority of ASPIS tokens will be locked in ASPIS Foundation Reserve until the appointment of the manager to the ASPIS Foundation. ASPIS Foundation will help all the operation to rewards a staking pool, to the governance, to ASPIS contributors pool, treasury, and reserve fund. So here are, I think, the main things I wanted to cover. And thank you again for this opportunity, and we'll be happy to answer your questions.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Vladimir, for your presentation. Lucas, did you have any questions to start us off? Yeah, perfect. Lucas said it's a very clear presentation, no questions. I felt the same way. It was actually a fantastic presentation, Vladimir. Perhaps a question that I had, which was probably a little bit different to what you spoke about, but I mean, did you want to chat a little bit more about the team and how you guys came up kind of with this idea?
Yeah. So basically, we have the background mostly in management consulting, and me personally, I had the internship into the investment banking. So basically, I was watching from the childhood, like all these youths talking a lot of different words like EBITDA and stuff like that. I was always wondering why it's so complicated and stuff like that. So, and then basically I was moving from the business, like from the oil and gas industry, from the supply chain to with my colleagues from finance industry. And also we started one of the first like crypto exchange back in the days in the local community. And we were growing with the industry growing. There were like introduction of IOs, different like IDOs, stuff like that. We opened the marketing agency working with multiple projects. And in the end, we just faced that, okay, so here are a lot of inefficiencies in the market. So we faced this with our clients, with ourselves, when we were trying to fundraise for our previous companies. So we decided that this crypto IDO, ICO stuff is very cool because it's allow like a little to no control and allows to be open to borderless streaming of the capital. So for example, you can create a company in India and then you can fundraise from all the world without like any restrictions or like different procedures. And this is actually mind-blowing. And we believe that the good way for our community, for our institution, and for humanity itself to grow better is to learn on each of these steps. So these ICOs and stuff were facing difficulties and inefficiencies, and we decided to address these inefficiencies one by one. And of course, our future will be open source, and we will still continue enhancing our product. But basically, we're try to aggregate the experience from more than like hundreds of years of corporate legislation and regulation into the smart contracts. And basically, with the help of the guys from open law, even they don't know, for example, other services like Otoko and other stuff, we're still like learning on these regulation stuff and trying to make market more transparent, more competitive, and more fair.
Oh, perfect. Thanks, Vladimir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So that concludes our demo session for today. So thank you to all the teams and presenters for joining us today and contributing your times and efforts to today's demo session. And thank you to Lucas as well for joining us today and asking some fantastic questions. It was fantastic to hear from all of the teams and hear what you guys are building. And congratulations again on your success in the Huobi Incubator Web3 Hackathon. I'm sure that we'll see a lot more from you guys in the future. So guys in the audience, if you did have any further questions for any of the teams, please feel free to try out their products, join their community and engage with them, because I'm sure that they'd love to hear from you. We do have a series of events like today coming up in the near future. There's one tomorrow as well. So if you are interested and haven't followed us on YouTube and Binance Lives, please make sure that you do so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming sessions that we're going to host for you. And please also stay in touch with with DoraHacks through our platforms as well on Twitter, Discord, and Telegram as well. You can see the QR codes on the screen now. So thanks again for joining us today, and we do hope to see you again soon. And thank you, Lucas. Appreciate your time. Thanks, guys.